Welcome to Tanya Today. Rabbi Ronnie Fine coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We greet Anna in Budapest. Welcome. Robert, shalom to you in Boston. And we have Andrea in Phoenix. Good morning. John in North Carolina, welcome. Erica in Norway, good afternoon. Eugenia in Calgary. It's might not even be bright and early. Well, it's early, yes, but not bright yet, probably. And Michael, good afternoon to you in Germany. And Nadine is in Canada. Shalom. Daniel. This is what it's about. Yep, Leah is with us in Florida. Jane, good evening in Australia. Diane is in sunny Arizona. All right, beautiful. Laurie is in North Carolina with us. Tim in Texas. Katie also in Texas. David in California. Alice is in Baltimore. Irma in St. Martin. Batya and David in Montreal. Asher in Tennessee, Liba, Davida in New York, Andrew in Springfield, welcome. Alan is in Kansas. We have over here Vilma Batya, Tim, Joachim, Adam, Jennifer, Margot Boss. That's on Clubhouse. We have a koi in Peru with us, with Yenta Telebenta, with Rabbi Gold, I think, or some Mashiach now. Adam, Ben, and others. All right. We have in South Africa. Good afternoon to Batalongo. I'm sure I got that wrong, but welcome. Susanna in Miami is with us. Rena in Colorado, welcome. Samita, beautiful. We are in the 6th essay of Kudsha Sachrin. Previously we spoke at great length about the Torah and its unique quality of bringing a refinement in the world, the exiled sparks that are hidden in this world, that through the study we actually bring a refinement. We take out the good from Klipas Noiga and extract it, and it's elevated. In this essay, we're going to go a step further. That's speaking about how Torah is part of this world, but then there is the transcendence of Torah. That's where we're going to go with this. More on that really tomorrow. What is the backdrop to our teaching? It's a story in Tanakh of King David. The Philistines, the Plishtim, captured the ark, and King David triumphantly was able to bring it back, and he placed it on a wagon to bring it back to its rightful place, mistakenly. He momentarily had forgotten the stipulation of the Torah that it is to be carried. The Ark of the Covenant is supposed to be carried by the Levites on their shoulder. That's the story in Tanakh. Our sages in the Talmud say, David, you call them songs? Why did he forget? What was he punished with? He forgot this law, a simple law that any school child would know it because it's a verse in the Torah. Why did he forget? Because he was punished for referring to the Torah, God's wisdom, his teachings, praising God in song about how great it is as a life force of this world. And for that he's punished. See, Alter Rebbe asks, whoa, what's the punishment over here? We find that the Zohar expresses the idea of the praise of Torah and its song, that it is something that God, he's praising God, in other words, for Torah being a song that brings life into this world. Brings life. So what's the punishment for that? That sounds like an amazing thing. And so be it that everybody should recognize that. But no, for this he's punished. Was he punished? To forget this simple law. So of course we need to understand, how's the punishment fit the crime? And what is the crime after all? So the verse says in Tehillim, Magadlu Masech Hashem. How great are your works, God. Your thoughts are very deep. Now, why does the verse make the deed precede the thought? No, usually a thought comes and then the action comes from it. So the Alter Rebbe explains that all of the worlds, the spiritual worlds and this lowly physical world, and we call it lowly only because of the light of God is so much reduced, that it is so concealed, that we could feel that we're an end in ourselves. And we are, the center of the universe. But all of the worlds are dependent on a meticulous performance of a single mitzvah. What does that mean? So he gives an example. An offering that is brought on the altar in times of the Holy Temple is valid. And valid means, therefore, it creates a supernal union between the male and female parts of the divine, in the divine attributes, the spheres above. And all the worlds are elevated as a result because they receive their life force from the spiritual sustenance of this mitzvah that was done, of bringing this offering on the altar. However, if this mitzvah was done without precision, for example, if you receive the blood of the offering with the left hand, not with the right hand, you use a vessel to receive the blood from the offering that's not a valid vessel, or you have a chatzitza, separation between you and the vessel, the Kohen who's doing this service, of course, we're talking about, then the world isn't elevated. And everything that you've done is for naught, because you haven't accomplished anything. You haven't created a unit above to bring a new divine light into this world as a result. Likewise with tefillin. The tefillin, they reveal the supernal intellect of Zoe Malchus, which is the source of life. Now, if there's a detail that's missing in fulfilling the mitzvah of tefillin, right? Tefillin are not between your eyes, they're on the side over here, they're on your forehead. The straps are kind of wiped out or rubbed out, whatever. Then the same thing happens. You do not elicit, you don't elevate the world, and you don't bring a new divine light into this world to infuse this world, to give life, vitality into this world. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe says, ponder how great the works of God are. That literally, the entire world is null and void to one specific law in the Torah. In other words, the divine wisdom, and all of its detail as it's expressed in the law of Torah, that in the fulfillment of it, it is totally pending on that particular law, that detail of a minor specification that sends the world and brings new life force into and sustains this world. And if we do something that's against the will of God, then the opposite, God forbid. Now, if you were to ponder this, the profundity of God's thought, God's wisdom that gives rise to this, in other words, the world is existing on the vitality of a specification of Torah law. Meaning, the world really doesn't exist except by virtue of the vitality that is through the Torah. So when you ponder this, you think about this, how the Torah truly transcends, the vitality, it is the vitality of this world. The vivifying power through a simple law that allows for the unification of the above to bring new light into this world, new vivification. God's thought is very lofty, completely beyond. He's completely beyond this world, as it is expressed in the Torah. So this was the delight of King David, that he sang to gladden his heart in a time of anguish. He was overjoyed when he contemplated how the entire world is of no account relative to one minor specific detail of the Torah. So is he extolling God for this? This is powerful. And that's the end of today's class. Let's unpack this. So King David is aware, a time of anguish, difficulty, and then you think about how the world is nothing before God. And all of the vitality that comes into the world is pending on just, that you observe a mitzvah in the appropriate way. All of a sudden, whatever difficulty you're going through, it just melts away. Just melts away. Because you're creating a new reality by bringing life into this world. New life by fulfilling. And that empowered him in a challenging moment. Meaning to say that, all you have to do is do what God needs from you, and whatever challenge you've got, whatever mitzvah you need to do in the moment, whatever challenge you have, God's going to, you're creating, in a sense, your own destiny. You're creating your own fate. Because the world is nothing. Absolutely nothing before God. Right? I mean, before me. I'm terrified right now of this challenge, right? But before God, it's nothing. So he ponders this, King David, and we likewise. We ponder that, and all of a sudden, what our difficulty, it melts away. Because the world's nothing. Its vivifying force is pending on a specification of Torah observance. So, hey, if I do the mitzvah right, I'm bringing new life into this world, and that's my life. That's what creates the reality. That's my reality. That's powerful. That's unreal. And yet he gets punished for this. To forget a simple law. That the Ark of the Covenant is carried on his shoulders and not put into the wagon. How so? Tomorrow we'll find out. Tomorrow we'll find out. But for right now, let us revel in this notion. It is amazing. By the way, it will come out that there is something very powerful about this, as we've explained, and very beautiful that all of us should appreciate. Yet there's something even greater. But again, yet we will get there. All right, let's open this up for some discussion or questions. Let me see on Facebook before I lose the feed. And Instagram, any questions there? Two question marks before you ask a question, please. Lori, you're confused. Why is King David punished? Me too. Except I know the answer. Tomorrow. You're right. How could it be punished for this? This is like such a... Imagine the entire universe would appreciate this idea. Ooh, that'd be amazing. Yes, there's something even more. So, yeah, you got to come back tomorrow. What can I tell you? I don't see any other questions. Yeah. Yeah, a typo on Clubhouse. It's King David. How that came out, I don't know. But tomorrow we will have the answers, God willing. In the meantime, it's okay to ponder this great notion and to live with it. And therefore, whatever challenge that you go through, anything that is an anguish in your life, pondering this, the world's nothing before God. So why making it such a big deal for me? Don't make it such a big deal. And what's the big deal? Doing a mitzvah with its details will bring about life. It's the source of life in this world. All right, folks. Tomorrow, she's another day. And I'm looking forward. Today is Yud Dalet Kislev, 14th day of Kislev. It is the wedding anniversary of our dear Rebbe. Got married to our dear Rebbetzin, Rebbetzin Chaim Mushka, in 1928. Tafresh Pei Tes in Warsaw. It is the day, as the Rebbe said himself, that began me being connected to you, and you connected to, and you connected to me. The day that sort of made it possible that the Rebbe would become a Rebbe, marrying the previous Rebbe's daughter. So it's a day of a union down here. And every time we do a mitzvah, we create a union in the spiritual realm. So connection to today's class, and bring new life and new light into this world. So a mazel tov to our Rebbe and Rebbetzin, and time to celebrate. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichin Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you, Tanya. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all for